guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this dress. So I'm going to start with the bottom part of the dress. So basically what I have here is just so the length I'm working with is going to be 41, right? So I've already subtracted her shoulder to waist, which is 17 from it, so I have 20. So that's going to be 24. So for the next thing, so 24 is the length I'm working with, right? If I minus her half length from the full length of the dress, so that 24 now, what I'm going to do is to add my seam allowance to it. So 2 inches or so, or 1 inch for folding it and half an inch to join it to the waist of the dress. So basically what I'm going to draw is just a pencil skirt. The width I have here is her hip measurement divided by 4, which her hip is 44, divided by 4 is 11. I added extra 1.5 to it, so you can see it's about 12.5 or so. That's for the front panel. So you see there's a front panel which is on a fold, and then there's a back panel which is cut into one piece, because there's going to be a zipper, right? So at the back panel has extension of 1.5 by the center back. So now let's go ahead and put in our measurement. Her waist measurement is 41. So her waist is 41 divided by 4 is going to be 10.25. Mark that here. And then I need 2 inches more added to it, 2 inches, because 1 inch of side seam and 1 inch of darting. So that's going to be here. Guys, you see that there's no much difference here because her waist and her hip, they are almost the same measurement. So the next thing I'm going to do is to add the waist to hip. So the waist to hip is going to be somewhere here at 10. Mark that. So the next thing I'm going to do, like I already told you guys, the measurements I have on this hip line is basically her hip measurement divided by 4, which is here. And then I have extra 1.5 for my seam allowance here. And then coming down to this lower part, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take away, because this is straight all the way down. So the measurement I have here, I'm just going to take away at least 1 inch from there, or you can do 1.5 depending on you. So I'm going to take that away. And then I'm going to connect from here to the waist. So you're going to come down at least 1 inch from this point, so that you not go and connect it directly here. It will give you, it will be pointy here. So at least come down 2 inches from the waist, and then you're going to connect it from that point all the way to the end. And then once that is done, I'm going to connect from the waist to the hip again. Guys, normally it would have, like for some people or most people, when you do it, it would give you like a shape that goes in this way, right? But remember, like I said, her waist is the difference is not much for her, so that's why it's not you don't see that much space by the side. So all I have to do, but once I dart it, the difference will be there. So now the next thing is the dart. So her nipple to nipple is 9, divided by 2 is 4.5. So I'm just going to mark that here. And then my dart is going to go down all the way 2 inches before her hip line. So that's going to stop somewhere here. And then I'm going to connect it all the way to the top, half an inch on this side, half an inch on this side. And then my dart is going to look this way. So guys, I'm going to be picking this dart on the 4 layers of this here, the 2 sides of the front and the 2 sides of the back. So I'm just going to go ahead and notch it. So my dart is going to be on the 4 sides of this. So let me go ahead now. I'm going to cut up what I have by the sides. So guys, all I have to do now is to go ahead and pick my dart. I have my 2 piece for the front, sorry, 2 piece for the back of the skirt, and 1 piece for the front. So this is the 1 piece, and then this is the 2 piece here. So now let me just go ahead now and start with the top part of this. So guys, as we've cut the skirt now, and it's just a basic pencil skirt. So guys, this is basically a basic pencil skirt and a basic bodice. A basic bodice is what you're about to draft now for the upper part. This is what the dress is, but where the whole design comes in is the neckline that is turtled and the sleeve. So everything is just a basic pencil skirt and a basic top that is joined to a basic bodice top part that is joined together. So for the basic top parts, we've done this several times. All I have to do is just to put in her shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 16. So that's going to give me 8. Mark 8 here. Come down here by 1 inch of shoulder slope. Mark that. come down again and insert her armhole divided by 2, which is going to give me 9. If you don't know how to calculate it, like I always say, use round their bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5. So now that you've marked this, now the next thing you're going to do is to come in here, insert her bust measurement divided by 4. Her bust is the same as the hip, is 44. I've marked that here. I also have 1.5 inch of seam allowance. Come down to the waist. Her waist is 44. Sorry, her waist is 41 divided by 4, 10.5. Mark that. And then I'm going to add 2 inches of seam allowance. And then I'm going to connect this to the top part here. There's no much to cut out, you see. So now I'm going to also give it a cuff for the armhole. So guys, once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and mark 3 inches for the neck. So guys, the one on the thumbnail has a turtleneck, but this client doesn't really want the turtleneck. So basically, I'm going to use 3 inches of neckline, connect it to the shoulder slope this way. And then once you've done that, you're going to come down here, mark your 1 inch for the back neckline, and then mark 3 inches for the front neckline. This is what you use for turtleneck, right? You're trying to draft it to be a turtleneck. In case if you now need more, so this is the basic neckline you will use. But if you go back when you're done after cutting this out and check the opening of the neckline and it's too small, then you can go back in and chip off some more, so that it can contain the person's neck. Like when you measure around their neck and let's say it's smaller than what you have as the opening of this, then you can always go back in and maybe do 3.5 to the length, or you can reduce the one at the back, anyhow it works for you. But basically you start small, so 1 inch for the back and 3 inches in front. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it so you see what I'm saying. So you see this is out, and then for the front I'm also going to cut this out. And then now let me just go ahead and cut out the armhole. So guys, this is it here. I've cut out the armhole. This is the neckline. So guys, for the back, another thing I like to do is to come up here 1 inch and then blend it into this line. You see, I was already cutting it out. So this will help your zip not to bulk up, because remember we are making a pencil dress. So come up 1 inch by the center back and blend it into the side in form of an angle. So now that this is done, I'm also going to move from here in 4.5 in, and this is going to be for my dart in front. So my dart here is going to be the same. Divide the nipple to nipple into 2 and mark what you have, which is 4.5 for me. And then you're going to measure from her shoulder to where you want your dart to stop. So her shoulder to bust is at 12. So the dart is going to stop at 13. So it's going to stop somewhere here. So my dart is going to be about 5 inches long for the front, and then for the back is going to go all the way up to the chest line. So that's going to be almost 9 inches. So now I'm going to go ahead. So guys, as you can see, I also went ahead and chipped off some from the front armhole. This 0.5 just to help my sleeve not to bulk. So guys, now let me go ahead and start joining the body of this cloth together, join the other part together, and then we'll come back and cut the sleeve so we can be able to attach it. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do, as I've joined it, you see I joined the back to the back and then the front to the front here. So up and down is what I'm saying. So now the next thing is just the sleeve. So first thing I want to cut is the ruffle, right? The ruffle on top. So I'm going to cut it like a flounce. So basically I'm going to place my tape where I want it to stop. If you want, you can use the whole length of your sleeve, but I don't want it to go in. So I want to do about 10 inches, right? So that's going to be 10 inches for this side and then 10 inches for the other side. So that's going to be 20, right, for the front and the back. So measure what you want. If you want, you can use the whole end. So once you get that, the next thing is going to be to divide it. So whatever you get, you're going to divide that by 3.18. So if you divide it by 3.18, so for me, if I divide the 20 by 3.18, I'm going to get about 6.5 or so. So that 6.5 is left. I'm going to do, see what I did here. I folded my fabric into 4. So it's folded into 2 and then it's folded again into 4, because I'm trying to cut like a circle here, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just take it here, and then I'm cutting for 2 sleeves, not just one. So I'm going to take it here and place my tape, and then first I'm going to mark the 6.5 first. So I'm going to mark 6.5 all the way round from here all the way this way. So after that, guys, you need to calculate the length you want the ruffle to be. So for me, I want the ruffle to be about 7 inches or so, or it depends on you. You can do 6.5 or any length you want, but just put into consideration the seam allowance you need to fold it. So I'll need 1 inch to fold the edge here, and then I'm going to need 1/2 inch to join this part to the sleeve. So that's what I'm going to do now. So what I have here is 8 inches. So I'm going to take up my tape now, and then I'm going to mark the whole length from this point here to this point. So that's going to be about 14.5. I'm just going to mark 14.5 all the way. So place your tape and then mark it from this point to this point, like that, all the way. So guys, once you've finished cutting, you see I marked it now and then I've cut it. So this part here also, I'm going to cut it out. So once I cut it, I will have 42 sleeves. So you see, this is done. So I'm just going to go ahead and split it into two, because this is for the 2 sleeves that I'm working with. So this is it here. I'm going to notch this top part, and then this is going to fall over. So I'm going to take this now and I'm going to place it on top of the sleeve. And this sleeve, I'm going to be cutting it as so guys, this would have been better to make like a circle, but since I don't have enough fabric to do that, that's why I'm cutting mine as half a circle. But it would have been better to cut it the way I cut it now, the way before I even split it into two. That would have been better to cut for 1 sleeve. That way you will get enough ruffle. So that would mean that you will fold your fabric into 4, and then you will use the length for 1 sleeve, right? So you will use the opening of 1 sleeve. If it's 20 that you're working with, this time you will divide it by 6.28 instead of 3.14. You will divide by 6.28. That way the opening will be smaller, and then you can use this for just 1 sleeve and you will have more ruffle. If you see now mine, because I don't have enough fabric, the ruffle is not much because I split this for 2 sleeves, right? I calculated it for half a circle, but it would be better to do 360. I did 180, but it would be better to do 360, a full circle. That way you will have more ruffle and more flounce on top of your sleeve, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to go ahead and also cut for the sleeve that I'm working with, the funnel sleeve that I'm working with. That way we can be able to join this to the funnel sleeve first, and then before we can attach it to the body of the dress. So guys, I just lost the clip of where I cut the sleeve. So basically what you have to do is just fold your fabric into 2. Let's say this is a square fabric. Now you fold it into 2 like this. Like, don't mind this part that is not complete. Once you fold the fabric into 2, you're going to angle it. So you're basically going to turn it like you know how we cut a line. So you're going to fold it something that looks like this, and then you're going to go ahead and measure from this point and then rule a straight line. Once you rule a straight line, you come down at least 4 inches, and then you're going to mark a line in between. Halfway through that, give it a curve and then a curve below. So then you're trying to cut something that looks like a funnel or an A-line sleeve. So that's what it's going to look like. So once you finish that, you measure from this point to where you want the sleeve length to be, and then you're going to mark it this way, connect it this way. So basically my sleeve is going to go from here to here. It's going to have a shape of an A-line. I'm going to insert a video of how to cut this type of sleeve. So that's what you're going to do. And once that is done, the next thing is just to take your sleeve, take the ruffle that you cut already. Guys, I would advise, instead of using just from maybe one point of your sleeve to the other, I would advise to measure entirely the upper part of your sleeve. You know, like the angle of how your sleeve, the top part, measure from that point to this point. It will be better. And then divide it by fold your fabric into 4 and divide it by 6.28, or fold your fabric into 2 and divide it by 3.14. So if you're folding into 2, that means you're cutting half a circle. You won't have enough of a lot of folds like gather on top. That's if you fold it into 2 to cut the circle, you use 3.14. But if you fold it into 4, you fold your fabric into 4, that way you can be able to have more gather, like more flounce on top. Then you're going to divide it by 6.28. This is a constant, you understand, for cutting it. This is for 180 circle and this is for a 360 circle. So you're just going to measure, instead of stopping halfway, you're going to measure all the way around the top of this sleeve. So this is, let me fold it into two so you can see that this is actually my sleeve folded into two. So you see what my sleeve looks like, folded into two. But if I open it now, you see I'm just going ahead to sew this ruffle. I've not sewn one side, I just did one side. I wanted to show you guys the other side. So you're going to use a small stitch to hold this down all the way. So once I finish this side now, I'm going to take it the way it is and join it on this other side of the sleeve, like how I would join a normal sleeve, and then it will look something like this one. So you see, it will look something like this. So that's basically what I'm going to do on this side, and then I'm going to close up my seam and then fold the end of the dress. So guys, this is it here. I've finished the dress, and then this is the back here. So guys, this is basically it here. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.